So, Kevin Sellers,
That's me.
what's your frame? What are you flying?
My frame is currently a Taro T1000 octocopter frame that I've cut down to a quadcopter.
How did you do that?
Took 4 of the arms off.
It's not hard to do, or?
No. The center section has clamps in it where just round tubes go in and it screws down. Tightens the tubes. And so you just take 4 of them out. Made it lighter and a lot faster, a lot more maneuverable. Your finger's in the way of the lens, by the way. So yeah, that's the frame. Motors, well, I started with the T-Motor 4120 465 kV motors.
Was that when it was an octocopter, or? Because it was an octo.
That's true. We started
it
right. We started as an octocopter. I was using some LD Power 4114 320 kV motors, and it just didn't have any power. Finally had my first race with Zoe, and she just smoked me with a quadcopter, and I was like, okay, I got to drop some weight. And then, I found the 4120 motors on Amazon for $50 a piece, and they're usually like 130. So bought up a bunch of those, and they're a lot more powerful. I came in second up against Colby at our second race with those. The only reason that was is because I wasn't using an aggressive enough prop. I think
is that something you think that if you're getting into this, you need to keep an eye on, is the props?
Oh, definitely. And we're all still trying to figure it out. It's the whole balance between the size of the prop, the pitch of the prop, the kV of the motor. You're trying to get the most pitch speed, which is based on the pitch of the prop and the RPMs the prop is spinning at. You want to try and get your pitch speed as high as possible while still maintaining enough thrust to give you enough angle in the air to, be able to move fast enough. So it's this whole balancing act between all the different parameters, and just trying to nail the best combination that you can, and we're still working on trying to figure that out.
Yeah. So you were with the T motors. What motors are you with now?
Right now I'm working with some prototype T motor. They're calling them the F1000. I believe it's about the same size as the 4120. It's about, I don't know, I haven't measured the actual stator, but it's close to the same size. It's about equivalent to their U6 motors, I believe, but they rewound it and put in stronger magnets, and it is rated at 700 kV. So it's a much faster motor, but it's not nearly as powerful as the 4120s were. So you can move a smaller prop a lot faster. Whereas the other ones could move a bigger prop slightly slower. So it's finding that balance.
Torque versus speed.
Right.
What ESCs are you using? Because you've gone through a number of different ESCs because of your power balancing.
Right. Let's see. We started off, when I was running the LD Power motors, we started off with 45 amp RC timer ESCs. Then when I moved up to the 4120s, I needed more power, so I went with Hobbywing 50 amp ESCs. And now that I've gone to the F1000s, those things take a lot of power, so I'm at 80 amp Emax ESCs. And the nice thing about the Emax is they support standard BL heli, so they have the normal active braking and one-shot PWM protocol for talking to the between the flight controller and the ESC, whereas a bunch of the other ones only support PWM, which is a lot slower, so you got a slower update rate with the motors, and it doesn't fly as steady as faster protocols do.
Yeah. All right. So we've covered frame, motor. Oh, what flight controller are you using?
Right now, I'm using the Airbot Omnibus F3. I really like that one because it's got an OSD built in, which gives you all your, in-flight flight information. And it has a built-in SD card, so all the flight logs just go to the SD card. When you go to analyze your flight, you just pop out the card, stick it in your computer, and see how it went.
What RC are you using? Receiver, transmitter?
Tyrannus with FR Sky X4 RSB, I guess it is. Yeah, standard mini quad thing.
Yeah.
Same with video transmitters, the TBS Unify Race HV, and Fat Shark goggles with LaForge modules.
And if someone was getting into X Class right now, what would be the first thing that you think that someone would want to start with? Like the bit of advice, the mistake that you made early on that you're like, don't do this.
Right. Don't go with underpowered motors. It's just a waste of time and money. We got them because they were cheap. Reiner found them online for $20 a pop. And, they're a good beginning thing to start with, but you just need more power than that.
So Reiner, he's blaming you for his biggest screw up.
Of course.
It wasn't a screw up. It was just we didn't know any better at the time.
What big screw up are we talking about?
Underpowered motors.
Just
Okay,
talking
so
about going with the
let's just talk
320s.
about the difference of Kevin and I. Okay?
All right, yes, absolutely. What's the difference? He says the first thing that you should do if you're getting into X Class, don't go with underpowered motors. It's a waste of time.
Okay, so my whole philosophy, if it flies, you're doing awesome. Kevin over here is like, it flies, doesn't go fast enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really about the speed and he's really pushing the elements. For me, I'm just excited I'm in the air and that I land it and I get to fly it again without any repairs. So I'm not really necessarily after the speed. I'm just kind of like the durability and that every time I put a battery in, it flies.
Okay. So what's your advice to somebody wanting to get into X Class?
The
First thing, the mistake that you made that you don't want them to make. To learn from your experience.
My gosh. Well, I think be realistic about a budget. If you have a budget of $1,000, you can do some pretty good damage. I would also say, like with RC Timer is a good place to get started. I would not use their integrated PDB because if it crashes, and most likely will, there's just too much that can go wrong. Do a power harness or even do what Kevin does over here, use washers. Get creative. I don't like integrated PDBs. I like PDBs, power distribution boards.
Yeah.
But I love power harnesses better. I
Right.
think you need to work with what's off the shelf, but make it yours. Because there's a lot of things here that nobody really knows what they're going on. We're really kind of like that 250 blackout days that we're like, oh, cool, it flies. And then within 3 months, people were making modifications for it and then just totally dismissing it altogether. New frames, now this size. I just say overall, just listen to your intuition.
All right. Cool. All right. Thanks, dudes.
Yeah,
Thank
what
you.
he said.